Hey, this is Cordovas, and welcome to Blues Kitchen.
The Cordovas released their brand new album in August of 2018. That Santa Fe channel is made up of southern storytelling, cosmic country twang, and triple stacked harmonies, very much their own brand of Americana and roots music. We discuss the album, Joe's time leading Kamasi Washington and Thundercat in the Carson Daly house band, and the band performed their Grateful Dead tinged version of Bill Browning's Dark Hollow. And while you're watching, subscribe to the channel for regular episodes of The Blues Kitchen Presents. Cordovas, welcome to The Blues Kitchen.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Well.
You guys are in the middle of a pretty hectic tour right now.
We have ways of making things more hectic than they should be.
Like booze?
No,
late nights?
No, not really. It's just pure
yes,
failure
right.
of logistics. I don't need to say yes. I mean, there's a time where that was a part of our failures, of course. This time it's just more purely blowing it on logistics.
The tour I see runs pretty much up until I think like the fall, like around September, October time. In England at the moment, and then you're over doing like Newport and all that kind of stuff. Is there anywhere thus far that's been a particular highlight for you guys?
Europe is a highlight always.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, the crowds are so much more receptive to what we do, and they know what they're listening for.
Yeah.
And the way that they talk to us after the show lets us know that they're really paying attention to what we're doing.
So in a short while, you're going to be doing a cover of Dark Hollow by Bill Browning, traditional American tune. But before we get to that, I mean, I want to congratulate you on Frozen Rose, a single I heard about a week ago. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, my ears are hearing kind of part down home, Nashville sounds, but also very much like a West Coast Grateful Dead, dare I say it, harmony kind of sound as well. Am I touching on the right buttons with that?
I mean, it took me 16 years of being a tourist in LA, permanent 16-year tourist, to figure out what was happening behind that. It sounds different, right? With the West Coast from Texas and the West Coast from the South, and the records that they made in Tennessee, and the way that Graham Parsons approached it. For us, I mean, again, we were allowed to step away from the South. So when I moved away from North Carolina, then I got to go, oh man, Carolina's got the best music.
Right.
Without question, we got all these guys and all this history.
So you don't know what you've got until you've gone.
Until you've gone. But then when I stood back over there going, oh, these cowboys out here are also trying to do kind of a similar music, but this is my music.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just need to surf for a little while and figure out what's going on. Get some of
Soak
that.
it up. So the Santa Fe channel is coming out in August. Can we expect more of the same? Is it that kind of West Coast meets traditional country and roots and Americana kind of sound?
It's a lot of harmonies.
Yeah.
A lot of good, solid songwriting.
So who are you, when you're talking about harmony, who are your kind of go-to influences, if you like? Who are you listening to while you're recording the record?
Everybody. I mean, that's one of the main things is that I felt like if we could somehow lyrically write songs that weren't exactly always personal to one man at one time, if they could somehow speak for a lot of people, and if the storytelling element was stronger, then maybe two guys could sing it at once and it wouldn't be distracting, right? Mm. But what if three guys could sing it? Then it would be tricky to talk to me and you. You'd have to reconsider the way that you're writing the lyrics. And so we do. We want the lyric to be something broad enough where three people could sing it all at once. Because we want to be able to use the harmony almost all the time. And even when it's a song where a dude jumps off and sings the verses or whatever, and then everybody, even me, I'm going, they should all be choruses. Everything's a chorus. This is 2018. Like, stop the formula, So we want it to be not formulaic, but we do want to sing harmony as much as possible. You know?
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about making the album. I mean, you mentioned just now you spent 16 years as a tourist, kind of soaking all of that up. And before the cameras were rolling, you said that you'd spent many years on, it was Carson Daly show as a house band as well. Maybe you could tell us about everything that you soaked up during that 16 years and how it kind of seeped into your record.
I mean, I'll let Toby jump in when he comes in on the story, and I'll be as concise as possible. I mean, I moved to LA to find what was happening, the art out there, and maybe some of my people too. And I made a bunch of art, and I got a deal on Atlantic, and we made those records. Okay, so then this really starts the process of what album making is, because the people that they were able to put me with, because of their strength of that power of that company, were the best. And they were not only the best, but because of the situation that they had patience with me. It wasn't me groveling and hoping for 3 hours of their time. It was basically an open studio that they were being really well paid for.
Yeah.
And so I was getting a lot of consideration and a lot of patience.
Was that a good thing or a dangerous thing?
I mean, if you were the accountant for Atlantic, bad. But if you were me, I was just sucking up all the information. I slept at the studio.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we moved forward into the subsequent records for Atlantic, and then even the TV show where it wasn't these guys. It was Thundercat was in my band, and Kamasi was in my band, and the premier jazz guys in the world were young 20-year-olds in my band on that show, and I just learned from them on the way that they arrange, the way that they think. Okay, and then I started to piece together how to do the job, which I didn't know on Atlantic, you know, and then that's when I went, you know. It's got to be a band, you know, that this solo thing's hard. But if it's a band, then I can maybe put my weaknesses over here and accentuate some of the strengths and incorporate some of my friends. He and I had been playing together our whole lives. So I called Toby, and when I met Luca, that's how we did it.
And then when you actually go into the studio, is it a quick process? I mean, who did you work with on the record?
We worked with Kenneth from Milk Carton Kids. All the stuff that I had done was basically my call. For this record, I wanted Kenneth, and the deal was for me to shut the up and do what he said.
Yeah. Maybe you could elaborate a bit on the house band thing as well, because a lot of people cut their teeth in different ways, you know, and there's the age-old thing of just playing the clubs, which is a very southern thing maybe, or, you know, back in the 60s, the Beatles would go out to Hamburg and you'd play for weeks and days on end, months, you know, and then long stints in the bars. Was the house band thing your kind of version of that?
No.
No?
The house band thing was a thing that was a feather in my cap, and I think I was at least clever enough to watch these guys. I respected musicians enough, but I'm still in my 20s. I'm still a pretty hard-headed son of a bitch. What's happened in my musical progress, and I could probably speak for everybody, is these most recent tours. The reason for me is that it's because it's required more attention than ever. The stakes are higher. You can't fail. We care about it more. The priorities have shifted. Life has shifted. Hair has fallen out. It matters more. And so when you're concentrating like that every night, and then you're studying your tape, which we do religiously in the morning the next day on the ride, you're making progress. I feel like I've made more progress in the last 2 weeks than sometimes over a decade.
So let's talk a bit about the cover you're going to do in just a moment, if that's all right. So you're going to do Dark Hollow, Bill Browning, traditional American tune. When did you first hear it? Why is it important to you?
Well, there was an album that I absolutely adored when I was around 17. Prior to that, I had just played electric guitar and rock and roll bands and stuff, but the time period was the early 90s, and this is when I discovered the Grateful Dead.
Yep.
Okay, and the album I'm speaking of specifically is called Bear's Choice, where the first half of the record is acoustic.
Yep.
And Jerry and Bobby are just playing acoustic guitars with capos and telling little anecdotes between each song. And Dark Hollow is one that Bobby sung, and I always really liked that song. And I would say that encouraged me to want to play the acoustic guitar and sing. Prior to that, I just played electric guitar and as fast as I could, as many notes as I could, and listening to them playing that acoustic selection on Bear's Choice like that, and then following up with a second side as a rock and roll set.
That's the live side, isn't it?
It's the live. Well, the whole thing is live, and that was the charm to me, and that acoustic record opened up the door to traditional music and bluegrass and mandolin and fiddle and all this stuff because of that. So when I do that song, Dark Hollow, or I've Been All Around This World, it's really the beginning for me jumping into Americana, traditional music, blues, everything. Around that time, I got into Robert Johnson a lot.
Oh, okay.
And it's a very big thing.
And then you got to remember, after the two of us had grown up together, half a block from each other, we reunite. He's older than me. We reunited at the university where I somehow got into, I have no idea, but he was there like taking it seriously, but I just went to get a band and party, And so now I didn't know anybody, man, and now here's this old guy, he's like a senior, but he had guitars, and now he's showing me all this music when I'm 18. And we're going on long road trips to go play in our other band in Raleigh, and I'm listening to Blind Blake and Robert Johnson going, whoa.
And the harmonies of Bill Monroe and his brother Charlie. That was one that we listened to.
It was very easy for us to sing the harmonies. I could sit right back at the thing, and you could tell that I could learn the stuff, And so, you know what I mean? That's pretty much the trademark of the Cordovas right there.
I reckon it's time for some music.
This is our version of Bill Browning's Dark Hollow, and I learned this song from Bobby Weir and Jerry Garcia on Grateful Dead's Bear's Choice, which came out in 1973. 1, 2, 3. I'd rather be in some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be home alone, not knowing where you're going would cause me to lose my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, take me far on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back. I'd rather be in some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be in some big city in a small room with you on my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, take me far on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back.
Subscribe to the Blues Kitchen for live performances and interviews with the hottest blues, soul, country and roots musicians in the world today.